Hello, everybody, and welcome to Just Mitch Movies, the podcast. I am your host, Mitch Fesser. Grab your popcorn and your soda, for the show is starting. This week of June 15th, I'm just going to go straight out there. I'm going to start with this big success of Inside Out 2 from Disney and Pixar. So going forward from this episode, I am a Walt Disney World Cast member, so therefore I do not speak for the brand or the company. My thoughts and opinions are my own. I saw Inside Out 2. Opening night, Thursday. I was blown away by the movie. The movie was so good. If you want to see my review, definitely check out my YouTube channel at Just Mitch Movies. I made a short review. I gave it a 4 stars out of 5, so that was a spoiler, but it was such a good movie. And the fact that it's making a ton of money at the box office, it's predicted to gross anywhere between... I've been seeing some conflicting reports. I was seeing $80 million. I was seeing $90 million. Somebody, I think it was Entertainment Weekly, was posting $100 million for this weekend. I could see it making $100 million because word of mouth is good. Reviews are excellent. And my theater was packed. But I genuinely believe that Inside Out 2 could be the first $100 million debut weekend of a Hollywood film this year. And it is something that Hollywood needed big time because there has not been a really big success this year yet. And with holdover Bad Boys Ride or Die, that's going to help the box office out a little bit. It's not as much as a lot of people were hoping for, however, because Hollywood needs a lot more successes, especially going forward, because there were a lot of movies that were like, okay, I could see this making a lot of money, like Mad Max Furiosa, Garfield, a few others. I think Dune Part 2, I would put that on the list because I don't think it hit as much money as they were expecting. What did it gross? I think it finished with $500 million, I think was this finished. But here's the thing, y'all. People are still kind of not wanting to go to theaters, especially after, the pandemic. You had the Hollywood strikes, so it's just hard for audiences to really get back into that theater. So with Inside Out 2 making a lot of money, and with hopefully, I think, I could see it make $100 million. We'll just have to see. But tracking was looking really good for its opening weekend Thursday, the preview that I went to. It was $12 million, which, if you really think about it, I don't want to say it's unheard of, but lately, for Pixar, for the past couple years, that's unheard of. And the fact that it's might hit $100 million, which would outgross the first film's weekend opening, that's a big win for Pixar. So I'm hoping it makes $100 million, and it lets people know, like, hey, it wasn't just a cash grab. It was a good movie. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. And speaking of Pixar, Pete Docter, the chief creative officer of Pixar, long developer of Pixar, directed great films such as, Monsters, Inc. He was talking about Inside Out 2. And somebody mentioned the fact that, a lot of people didn't expect Inside Out 2. There's Toy Story 5. Is there anything else that's in the pipeline for Pixar? And he went out and said it like they are going to be developing a lot of sequels now. They were saying how there's sequels in development for Incredibles 3, Finding Nemo, Monsters, Inc., which I think if any of those films needs a sequel, it's Monsters, Inc. People love Monsters, Inc. They love Sully. They love Mike. Anytime I go to the Disney parks, people line up to see Sully out the wazoo, and they always ask, where's Mike? Where's Mike? So if there's this movie that needs a sequel out of the Pixar franchises, it is Monsters, Inc. And I know there's a lot of people like, Pixar's been relying on sequels. They kind of need to because they need a big box office smash. Because the past couple years, Elemental was made profit. It had good legs throughout the season, throughout the summer season, but post Toy Story 4, there has not been a really big success. Soul was released to Disney Plus. Turning Red was released to Disney Plus, which was a big mistake, mind you, but it happens. It was during the pandemic, so it was kind of, they didn't want to see it lose money. I think, I don't know if it would have lost money. I think it would have been a success, but at that time, nobody knew what was going to go down when you released a movie in theaters. So, can't really fault anybody for that. But Lightyear, that tanked. And Lightyear wasn't a great movie. I enjoyed it, but if you compare it to the other Pixar films, it wasn't that great. Luca went straight to Disney Plus. Onward was a bomb because it was released like right as the pandemic started. And you have Elemental, but the fact that Inside Out 2 is making a lot of money, you're going to see a few more sequels be made from Pixar. There's going to be a few original films. I know there's one coming out. I can't remember the title off the top of my head that's coming out next year. But Pixar needed a box office draw. And with Inside Out 2, it's making money. So I have to give Pixar a lot of credit for doing what was necessary, because even though you want to see original films, I love original films, but at the end of the day, this is a business and they had to make money, and they did it. And they did it in a great way with Inside Out 2, because Inside Out 2, I say again, was a phenomenal film. Going from there, done talking about, the box office, I want to talk about Blade. Blade just lost another director. That is director number 2 since the movie was announced to leave the film. That has not happened with a Marvel project ever. Yeah, a few projects have lost one director. But the fact that this movie has now lost director number 2, and they are looking for director number 3. And this film, I don't know if it's going to be made. I really, really don't. Or at least it's not going to be made with Mahershala Ali as Blade. Because they have been trying to make this film since 2019. They've gone through so many screenwriters, so many scripts, so many different developments. They've gone through so much with this film. And it is supposed to come out in November 2025. There is no way they are meeting that date. Absolutely no way. They have to find this director within the next 2 or 3 weeks to really start getting going. And they've got to finish this script, man. I don't know if Blade's going to be made. I don't know. Now, having said that, the famous Jordan Peele apparently met with Marvel this past week. Somebody was thinking, oh, what's he going to direct? What's he going to direct? He probably met about this movie. Do I think he's going to take the movie? No. I don't see him taking on Blade. Because the reason why I say that is because Jordan Peele is an original film director. He's not a franchise guy. If he does take this on, he's going to have all the creative freedom. And that means no one can say what he can and can't do. Not Mahershala Ali, even though he's been really instrumental in the development of this movie. I genuinely don't see Blade being made. As much as I want to see Blade be made, because I love Blade. The trilogy with Wesley Snipes was so instrumental in the development of Marvel films right after it. The fact that it's lost 2 directors now, since it was announced in 2019, there is 0 chance for this film to be made. And if it is, I don't think people are going to go see it because of how many problems it's had in the past couple years. But I do hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope I'm dead wrong, and I hope it gets made, and I hope it makes a ton of money, but I just don't see it happening, and it's so disappointing because there's a big fan base for a film like Blade and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, Kevin Feige, if you're listening, which I'd be surprised if you are, make the movie happen for God's sake. Get the act together. But at the end of the day, this is where I'm actually glad that Marvel is taking their time and not just shoving out a product that will most likely be bad that it was doing over like 2022 and 2023 a little bit, because you had movies like Ant-Man and the Wasp that was beyond bad. The Marvels was okay, I enjoyed it, but you had Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness that was kind of rushed. So I'm glad they're at least taking their time, and I have to give credit to Mahershala Ali and for him sticking through this project, because he was announced to star in 2019. And the fact that he hasn't left this movie, because they've been working on it for 5 years, and the fact that he has not left this movie just shows that he believes in this product, he believes in the movie, and he believes in the character of Blade, and he does believe in Marvel. So if Mahershala Ali believes in it, then I'm gonna have to believe in it too. So I hope it gets made. I hope they find a director soon, and I just hope it's good. Now we're going to go across the pond to DC. They finally announced when Creature Commandos is supposed to premiere, and it's supposed to premiere in December on Max. I know there's a festival going on the weekend of the 14th. I mean, I'm glad they finally announced it. I was hoping it would be premiering in like the fall and not around Christmas, but the fact that it's waiting until December, it gives audiences time to, watch that and get ready for Superman for next July. And I also believe with Peacemaker being filmed right now, I have a feeling Creature Commandos is going to come out in December, and I'm going to go out on a limb. I think Peacemaker Season 2, I could see that being released in spring of 2025 before Superman. I think that would be a problem because that's a lot of projects coming out so quickly at the beginning of this universe that they're starting. But Peacemaker started filming in March. It's already June. They only have like a month and a half left. And Peacemaker doesn't have a lot of CGI. So I could see Peacemaker Season 2 be made and be released on Max by, at the earliest, March. I don't see it being released after Superman. I'm James Gunn, and because I know he's also wants Waller to be started. If I'm James Gunn, have Creature Commandos come out in December, which he already is. If he was smart, I would release Peacemaker in March or April. That way, you can give your audiences time to watch the two shows by the time Superman is ready in July. Because you don't want to release Creature Commandos in December and then release Peacemaker in February and then wait till July. Release Creature Commandos in December, wait 3 months, release Peacemaker in March or April, then come July, people are ready for Superman. And then after Superman, if Waller has started filming, release that at the end of the year. There's your projects right there. That's 2025. And then 2026, you got Supergirl. So James Gunn's got himself, I don't want to say in a bad predicament, he's got himself in a decent predicament. We'll have to see what happens. But if I'm James Gunn, which I'm not, so there's that. But I think he would release Creature Commandos in December, Peacemaker in March or April, Superman in July, and Waller at the end of the year of 2025. But I could be wrong. He might wait till after Superman comes out to release Peacemaker. He might wait till Christmas of 2025. We'll have to see. On another note, Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. It just started filming this week. And they just released the image of Benoit Blanc. And oh my God, it's all black and white. And it's got Daniel Craig sporting a longer hairstyle. And I loved it. It's really giving the vibe of how Benoit Blanc is so unpredictable. And I also get the feeling that it might be a byproduct because, Glass Onion was set during the pandemic. So I could see him actually be like, you know what, I'm going to try to have a long hairstyle. That was my southern drawl. It was so bad. But then I saw the cast. Y'all, the cast is freaking loaded. As I knew it was going to be. Because the first two, the casts were loaded. But if you look at that cast, man, it's got obviously it has Daniel Craig. But it has, I think Josh Brolin is in it. Josh Brolin. Let me take a look before. But I know that it was pulling up IMDb here. Here we go. So it's Daniel Craig, Josh O'Connor from Challengers, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, Jeremy Renner, which that's interesting to me. This is his first filmed project since his accident. The fact that he came from that accident and he's making this film, he's got guts, man. So glad he's back doing better. Glad he's back in the swing of things. Got Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott. That's a good. Daryl McCormack and Thomas Hayden Church. That is a great freaking cast for a whodunit film. Mila Kunis from that 70s show Popularity. Thomas Hayden Church. Everybody loves Thomas Hayden Church. Josh Brolin. Can't go wrong with Josh Brolin. And you got an Academy Award nominee, classic actress, and Glenn Close. If this film is not as good, if not better than the first two, there's going to be riots. But yeah, it's starting filming. Can't wait to see it. It's been kind of hush-hush because, it's Rian Johnson. He won't let anybody know about the film until it comes out. I don't think we'll see a trailer this year. I think at the earliest we'll probably see a trailer of maybe spring of 2025. But I don't really want a trailer. I don't. Even though the trailers for the first two didn't really give anything away, I think a movie like this would be more beneficial without trailers. But you got to let the general audience know that it's coming out. Not everybody is as informative as someone like me or somebody that is obsessed with films, such as myself and such as other people that I know. But I think it would benefit more without trailers. But what do I know? But I am excited. Wake Up Dead Man is probably one of my most anticipated films of 2025. So if it's not good, I would be shocked. So there's that. And really, that's it for the week of June 14th and 15th. You'll have to let me know what y'all think of all the news and all the box office intake. But really, we all know who's going to win the box office. It's going to be Inside Out 2, followed by Bad Boys Ride or Die. I don't see anything else really coming close. I didn't see that the new Planet of the Apes was having a nice hold. I think it was sticking to about $1 million a week, which is pretty good, depending that it's already been out for a month. I don't think it's going to cross the $500 million mark. I'm glad it made the 400. Shows that people still like the Planet of the Apes franchise. But after this, I know this next week, nothing really big is coming out. There's that Bike Riders with Austin Butler and Tom Hardy that looks really good. I'll have to go see. I don't think it's going to make a lot of money, but I could be wrong. The next big box office draw will most likely be The Quiet Place Day 1, which a lot of people are talking about it. They're excited for that movie. So there's that to look forward to. You got Despicable Me 4 coming out. I don't see people seeing Despicable Me 4. I don't really care about that franchise. I just watched the first one today. I enjoyed it. It's fine, but is it really worth a big franchise. I don't think so. But really, after Quiet Place Day 1, I don't see anything big coming out until Deadpool and Wolverine, and I've been talking about that for a while. But we'll have to see what happens. Hopefully, studios start to come out with more movies, and the summer blockbuster season starts to be saved. But time will tell, y'all. Now, you'll find this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you can find your podcasts. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel titled Just Mitch Movies. Follow on Instagram at Just Mitch Movies and TikTok at justmitch.movies, where you'll also find this podcast as well as my movie and TV reviews. If you have any requests, go ahead and send me an email at mfester10@gmail.com. And as always, I'll see you all at the movies.